Okay, hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rafael Calvin. I'm from Business Administration Department, and in the UKM DS, I'm from S-Team, and my mentor is Fathur Rohman. So yeah, welcome to my sixth task. In this task, I want to tell you about what I learned from Technical Briefing NEDC 2022, reflect with my last task about NEDC 2022 Exhibition Round Adjudication. So yeah, maybe without further ado, we can start it. So the first thing I learned from this video is, after the debate finish, all of team and N1 adjudicator in debate are obliged to participate in the 6 preliminary rounds. And the chairman, or we call as the leader of the adjudicator, will give the real result, like who is the first rank, second rank, third rank, and fourth rank in debate. And they will give the reason of the assessment. Okay, next is true and false section. In this section, I have learned many important things to give the assessment as the adjudication. So the first thing I learned is, a judge should strongly consider imposing score deduction for a speaker who refused to take any POI. That's true, because POI is the crucial thing in debate, especially for British parliamentary, to signify that a speaker is dynamic and active to engage. So if you don't take any POI, you will get penalty. Your score will be deducted. So if you can try to take POI frequently, so it can improve your score in debate. Okay, next is, this house believes that actual motion can be a policy motion. That's true, because actual may mean somebody doing an action that has consequences, and how that action is done determines what consequences it brings. Therefore, a lot of policy element here. So uh, so this house believes that motion can be a policy motion if there's actor like actual, like gener as generation Z, we should blah 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 and others. So it can be a policy motion. Okay, next is, a house proposing this house regrets motion is required to discuss counterfactual. That's true, because regrets mean you wish something else happened instead, which is counterfactual. Comparisons about history can run without having something to compare to what is regret. For the example, like in the NUDC 2022 exhibition round before, this house as Generation Z regrets the concept of nuclear family. So you must tell why the concept of nuclear family is regret. Why what's the compare with the status quo or others. Okay, next is, style can play a role in the persuasiveness of a speech and must be judged holistically alongside analysis. That's true, because the core of British parliamentary judging is being holistic in describe persuasiveness. Style like clarity, wording, emphasis, tone, and others is a very important component of persuasion. So, style can play a role in the persuasiveness. Next is, six-way comparison either by rank or chronological is a required element of your OA or oral assessment. That's true, because to decide the first, second, third, and fourth rank, you must comparing the debate team, why opening government is higher than closing government, why opening opposition is lower than closing government, why the closing opposition is higher than closing government, and others. You must compare each team to give the assessment in debate. Next is, a good oral assessment should include general feedback. It's false, because the good oral assessment is one that explains the comparisons among all time. A good oral assessment should be efficient in time, not to overextend it. General feedback may eat away pages minutes that could be used for justifying comparisons between ranks. Next is, it is strongly recommended to describe a policy or mechanism in most this house believes that motion, and the answer is, it's false, Because although some this house believe that motion be a policy, but you must remember the most this house believe that motion are simple value judgment. So you don't need to give policy or mechanism. Okay, next is explain and mechanism more is enough for you to justify giving a closing team against their opening. It's false, because more mechanism doesn't justify a win, especially against a team who already has a degree of mechanization on their own. Team must explain why their additional mechanization has more value. So the explain and mechanizing more, it's not enough to justify the winning. Okay, the next section is test debate. In this section, I learned about the assessment and I got the answer from my last task. So yeah, in the last task, I made some mistake because I placed closing government or CG in the first rank. That should be opening opposition in the first rank. Because I think the score between closing government and opening opposition is too close, and and to be honest, it's difficult to me to give to vote who is the winner because the score is too close. Okay, in the video, tell the first rank is opening opposition, the second rank is closing government, the third rank is opening government, and the last is closing opposition. So next, let me move to the assessment. First, let me start from the opening government assessment. I will tell you why opening government is lower than opening opposition and closing government, and why opening government is higher than closing opposition. So let's we talk from why opening government is lower than opening opposition. Because opening government not enough responsive or preventive material to toward opening opposition's economic stability. So that's why opening government is lower than opening opposition. Next is why opening government is lower than closing government. Because they are overwhelming, more responsive against economy. And then why opening government is higher than closing opposition, because the relative proving a social pressures requiring closing opposition to robustly and why these are less likely to be the outcome of narrative surrounding nuclear family than their extension. Okay, second is opening opposition assessment. So opening opposition is the winner of the debate. They won the opening debate with their multifactorial economic analysis. Closing government was most successful in mitigating opening opposition harm, but even in the reduced form of opening opposition economic benefit, uh, opening opposition won against closing opposition by offering more tangible protection, forcing closing opposition to frame aggressive and dealing with social norms. So the third is closing government assessment. So closing government is the second rank in this debate, and I will tell you why the closing government is higher than opening government and closing opposition, and why the closing government is lower than opening opposition. Okay, let's we talk first why closing government is higher than opening government. Because because they answer the motion's burden more deliberately and accurately, successful vertical extension that build that and extend. Next is why closing government is higher than closing opposition. Because they are successfully pointing out the lack of response from closing opposition, the lack of meaningful difference between opening opposition and closing opposition. Conversely, the overwhelming economic takedown plus expansion on social woes warrant a lot more direct response from closing opposition. And then why closing government is lower than opening opposition? Because yeah, because opening opposition has excellent response from closing government. So that's why opening opposition is higher or over than closing government. And then is closing opposition. So closing opposition is the last rank in this debate because closing opposition have the weak meta, and the first speaker and second speaker of closing opposition don't not take any POI. So that's why closing opposition is in the last rank. And the interesting point is closing opposition has unique has interesting material like toxic and others, but they not flesh out the material or argument. So I think the point is not enough is not enough to higher than three teams. So that's why closing opposition is lower than other three teams. I think that's all about my argument. I'm sorry if I have wrong in my speech or in my argument and others, because actually there are some points that I still not understand. So yeah, once again I'm sorry if I have wrong. Okay, thank you for watching and goodbye.